What's going on, guys? So I am making just this precautionary video for those of you who travel down south, and I don't know if this stuff exists up north. I probably could have done a little more research to find out. But what you're looking at in front of you is this leafy vegetation that is called stinging nettle. And if you touch this stuff, you will instantly regret it. I don't know of anybody who can touch this and just arbitrarily grab it and not have any problems at all. But this stuff right here, if you touch, will feel like a bee sting, and then it will irritate your skin for probably a couple of hours. This is one of those things that if our daughter's out here playing, if she has friends and they're trying to go barefoot and they're around any of this, because sometimes this grows around the pool or the trampoline, things like that, and they touch it, instantly it feels like a bee sting, and you can get this stuff all over you if you don't know what's going on. So if you're traveling down here to South Texas or anywhere that has this type of nettle, you got to be very careful. You can break out in hives, you can have a huge, really bad itchy sore rash. But at the end of the day, this is stuff that you definitely want to avoid if you're out and about and you don't know what it is, or if you step in something and you feel a really bad sting and you thought you got bit by something. This might be what you've actually gotten caught up in, and we try to keep it under control out here. We try to fertilize and do stuff that will kill it, but it's pretty invasive and it can hurt you pretty bad, and it can definitely cause a reaction. I don't know how allergic some people might be to it, if it can put you in like anaphylactic shock, things like that. But this is definitely something you want to be very cautious of. I only say this because we have guests that come down here and friends and family that visit from other areas, and they've never seen or heard of this stuff before, and then they touch it because they don't realize, or they take their shoes off so they can walk through the yard, and then all of a sudden they're screaming in pain and they don't know why. And it's typically because they've stepped in some nettle or maybe even a fire ant pile. But this stuff to me actually feels worse than fire ant bites. So, you know, I've stepped in a fire ant pile and gotten hundreds of fire ants who all, for some reason, follow the order of biting at the same time. But I would rather step in fire ants than step in stinging nettle. So just keep that in mind if you're visiting and you want to know what that stinging sensation is. It might actually be this stuff. You know, I think the official name of this stuff is called Texas bull nettle, but it's a type of stinging nettle. And yeah, it's all the same, but you definitely want to be careful if you come in contact with it. Well, it's that time of year again where we are picking up leaves that have fallen throughout the year, and this is just one small part of the backyard near the house. Love this little dump trailer. The only thing I probably would do different had I known is probably put a better jack system up front. This is not a Texas Pride thing. This was a jack I got from UltraFab to put on here, and the base just doesn't hold up very well. So anytime there's any motion at all, anytime you have weight and it rocks at all, it kind of bends the base there. So I think I'm gonna probably find a way to weld a thick plate to that to prevent that from happening. Other than that, the jack works perfectly. It's just like the minute you start moving it, you can actually see it rocking and putting a lot of leverage on that, which I don't want to do. This is an absolutely awesome trailer, super compact, like super compact, little 6x10 foot or 7x10 foot dump trailer, 6x10 actually. But yeah, this thing is absolutely insane how functional it is. And again, I love the fact that I can just walk up to the side and I can literally reach anywhere I want into the trailer, which is the main purpose. And this is a lot of leaves. Don't know if you can tell from the picture, but this is a lot, and we probably have 2 to 3 times this much that we still have to put in here. You can see we have the bigger dump trailer back there completely loaded up. That is 4 full loads of tree branches, everything that we could put inside of there. And yeah, this stuff's gonna be crazy. There is a burn ban in effect right now because of the drought conditions we're in, so I can't burn any of this stuff, so I'm gonna have to find a different way of disposing of it. Maybe I'll dig a giant hole, put it all in the hole, and just cover it. Thoughts on that? Okay, so it's the following day, and it is absolutely a foggy mess outside. Probably have less than maybe 400 feet visibility. This was some of the area that we tackled yesterday with the leaves. You can see there's still a good amount here. We blew most of them over to this area, which it was very windy yesterday, even after we picked up the leaves, so there's a good amount of leaves left over here. And if any of you all know a really good way of collecting leaves, let me know. Then we have more leaves right here, an absolutely crazy amount of leaves. More leaves over here. More leaves over here. We really don't pick up most of these leaves right here because grass doesn't really grow into this area. And we have an insane amount of leaves right over here. I don't know if you all remember when we did the video putting this thing up, but it has held up really well. Covered in leaves. Golly, the wind really blew them into this area. And then the playground area is an absolute mess of leaves. So we probably have enough leaves in this area alone to fill that trailer up 4 or 5 times, I'm guessing. This is just an insane amount of leaves. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, check this out. We didn't even collect all this. This just happened to kind of blow into this area and hold up against the trail here. Crazy amount of leaves. Got more leaves right here. Actually, everywhere you look, there's really a lot of leaves. The only area that there's not is this area right here and that area right there. But yeah, the fog does a good job of kind of coating everything in some water. And if I leave it in here, it's going to compress down a little bit as the weight of the wet leaves kind of sinks it into here. But yeah, what we're going to essentially do is just keep filling this up, let that happen, let it essentially compact in. And I'm considering making a composting area where we just dig a giant hole, we pour all of this into it, and we cover it up with dirt, and then kind of mix it up, and then come back to it whenever we try to grow some garden areas. Because my wife wants to convert an area back there into a garden, which, guys, let me know if you want to see some content on that. And then she'll be growing vegetables and all sorts of different stuff back there, as well as flowers. I'm even considering building her a greenhouse back there. And you can always use fertilizer, and these leaves will definitely compost into some really good fertilizer, since we have so much of them, that is. And they're nice and wet right now, which means the weight alone is going to kind of compact it in. And then again, we got more leaves we're going to be stacking on top of here. Last time I did this, I filled this trailer up a couple times, and I took it to the back of the property. I dumped it out and I mowed over it to try to break it all down. I'm not going to do that again. That created kind of a mess. It didn't have the effect I thought. I think that might work if we had far fewer leaves, but with the amount of leaves we have, that's definitely not something I want to do again. I don't want to just take them off and burn them because I feel like that's wasting a resource that I could use for fertilizer. And I'm thinking the best route again would be just to dig a giant hole, dump them in that hole, and then cover over it with some dirt, or just allow it to compost into a really good fertilizer mix. But if you guys deal with this, if you guys have a tremendous amount of leaves, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to know if there's an alternative way to use this instead of just throwing it away. Again, I do understand the nutrient resource that this can provide as fertilizer, so that's probably the route we'll go. But do you guys have any other alternative ideas that could come into play with this stuff? Let me know. The dump trailer is still full of the tree limbs that we took down. We trimmed about 75 trees out here. The big concern that we have in some of these areas are like right here, because when it gets windy or when they die, big branches fall off. Like that one right there needs to be cut off, because the last thing I want is a big branch like that breaking off and hitting a vehicle or causing any type of damage or even falling on someone. But yeah, we come through here about once a year, and we go through a big tree trimming exercise where we start cutting down branches that are overhanging, especially overhanging the log home, branches off of some of the live oaks off the side here, off of some of these trees over here. It makes it difficult to get the zero turn in whenever you have branches that are reaching down and touching the ground. And we've tackled most of the trees here in the back. We have some trees on the other side there and some trees up front that still need to be trimmed down, but we can't fit anything else inside of the dump trailer. So anything we cut down at this point has to pretty much be rounded up and stacked into a pile until we get more room in the dump trailer so we can haul it off. Big burn ban in effect. We've had a lot of fires that have sprouted out just because of how dry it's been. Even with this humidity in the air and the fog, it really isn't doing much to alleviate that risk. So you mix low humidity, which we have during the day, and you are ripe for a fire, or at least the kindling needed to spread a fire if you're not careful. But yeah, we have a lot of work to do today. We're going to be collecting a lot more of these leaves. Like I said, the load that we currently have in the small dump trailer is only from this area right here and this area right here. And you can see we still have a tremendous amount of leaves. Okay, so we have the mini dump trailer loaded to the very top, filled out on all sides. Don't think we could really fit much more except maybe a couple handfuls in, but we really put it on top of here and crushed it down as much as we could. The trailer is actually pretty dang heavy with this many leaves in it. That said, yeah, we're gonna figure out where we want to dig a hole to dump all this. I'll probably make a whole video on that simply because that'll be fun and it'll be a learning experience for me, and I'll do it with the excavator. So what do you guys think? Pretty crazy. That is essentially one load of leaves. We got more of them that are probably going to fill this trailer up as soon as we hit some of the other sections of the yard. But I can tell you that that is a lot of leaves. Anyways, guys, sure hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment below, and we'll talk to you again very soon.